where were you at kind of before we started working together? As you said, actually, Joe, maybe I need to just get a bit of support or change a few things or.
Yeah, I guess to answer your question, 12 months ago I just had a heart attack. I had a mild heart attack. Thankfully, it wasn't a big event, and it was a type of my artery, and yes, the terminal heart attack. So I got a stint in, and it all worked out fine, and it was just could give me a severe jolt, and it was from it's a combination of stress and poor choices.
Welcome to the Grounded Man podcast by Deru. I am your host, John Douglas, and founder of Deru, and this space is for hardworking men building businesses, carrying responsibility, and providing for their families who feel they should be freer. You see, the world has changed, and leading through hard work and long hours now limits a man's influence. The new way is mastering the inner game of leadership so you can carry it well, enjoy what you're building, and still feel free. Deru is leadership for the 21st century. Hello, you're very welcome to this episode of the Grounded Man podcast. Myself, John Douglas. This is another special episode because I'm with a great man in business and a great man from Meath, and he's brought me up to. Well, actually, I'll let him tell us where he's brought us up to. But there's absolutely stunning views here. Apparently 16 counties you can see from the top of this place. So let's get straight in to the interview. So Barry, maybe just introduce yourself and tell us what you do in business and life and work.
Yeah, Barry Finnegan is my name. I was brought up around here, and near Kells, County Meath, or Old Castle in County Meath. I run a business. We set up a business, myself and my wife Eileen set up a business in 2018, and we manufacture a sensor that takes the levels of silos. You know, it transmits the levels of material in a silo to a user, prevents them having to guess what's in it, and tells them what's in it, gives them alerts as to the low levels and so on. So we mainly work for mills across the world. A lot of mills in Ireland and England use our equipment, and we've recently started to export beyond to Canada and the US. So that's started to work out pretty good.
Fantastic. And you were telling me there this morning your first shipment is?
Well, our first really decent volume shipment. We've shipped a lot of equipment to the States, but we're starting to pack pallets now for America, which is really, you know, we've been working on that a long time.
Yeah,
trying and get the North American market broken. So we're really proud and pleased about that. We're very lucky to have great investors. We're very lucky to have an incredible team that work with us.
How long have you been in business, Barry? And many people are working with you now.
We've 11, 12 people. We have been in business since we've set up the business at 2018, 19.
Right.
But really, it took us a few years to get the product dialed in. But we've been trading a good 6-7 years now, and we know our trade now, and we understand the markets, and we have various products that fit different applications. It started out with farming, but it's very much moved into a milling product and a miller's product and the cement and dry mortar, and there's lots of applications where it really does save. It enhances safety, inventory management, and so on. So there's a lot of reasons to use it if you're manually checking for material in silos of any sort, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of disrupting the market, I suppose, in a lot of ways.
Our competitors would be Siemens and Anderson Hauser and a lot of big German billion-dollar companies. So we're, as you say, we're disrupting it because we're new to the market, but our technology is new. So we're able to be a lot more lean in terms of how we've designed the product. So our products are much more effective and efficient. And then the cloud and cloud computing has allowed us to implement functionality that was previously unavailable. And we've also now started to use AI for applications in the milling industry. That's a world first.
Yeah.
We were the first to market in a certain, in the particular bin dipping, you know, the automation of bin dipping and the enhancement of security and so on. So we've been lucky to, we're in the market, we're listening to the customers, we're doing what we feel the customer wants.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think the difference between us and bigger companies is that we're nimble and we're not afraid to get our hands dirty and climb silos and talk to people in who have the problem.
But sure, anyway, Barry, tell us where we are this morning. Where have you brought us?
Okay, we're at the Lough Cairns. It's called Slieve na Caille, the Hill of the Witches. And it's a historic site. It's built before the pyramids, for there's a tomb, but it's also an indicator of the equinox. It's a very nice place. It's a spiritual place for lots of people to come. Lots and lots of people come here. It's very open and free.
And so we walked up here this morning, Barry, but you normally don't walk up here. What's your usual method?
I took up this thing a while ago, 5 or 6 years ago, paramotoring, flying. So I usually sometimes fly in here, and we're able to fly and land outside the perimeter here. It's lots of ground where you can safely land, and it's an incredible feeling to be able to just drop down here and have a cup of coffee and then take off and go home and get on about your day. But that's a very big privilege I have, and a very, very, I treasure it. It's some of the most amazing times I've had have been flying in and around these parts, you know.
Fantastic. So Barry, tell us a little bit, I suppose, about how the business has been running the business for you personally over the last, whatever, 6-7 years, as you mentioned.
In development of a business, you need a full gambit of skill sets. So the best, you know, obviously, my wife being an accountant, and Eileen being, she's been obviously the sensible person in the business, and she's hugely skillful, although she would say that herself. She's hugely skillful in interacting with all the professions.
You get the brownie points for that anyway.
Well,
I know, it's the truth as well. You said it before.
yeah, she's able to talk to investors, and she's really excellent at dealing with everything financial, but also legal and patents and so on. But it's what I do is just quite functional and pragmatic. What she does keeps the show on the road in real terms, because the business couldn't operate without investors, couldn't operate without, you know, the financial piece being done correctly, and she really does. She does that and keeps it training. So that's we've a great team behind us. We've great sales guys. We have a good, you know, we've really good team who understand what we do, because what we do is so unique in terms of our laser and getting our laser levels back to solid, and they're trying to turn that into a tonnage. So we've a huge piece online, and our cloud piece is very unique to ourselves, and we've developed it and invested in it over the last year. So it's trying to. So my job is trying to figure out what's the biggest problem at the moment, and dealing with it, or the biggest opportunity, and dealing with the largest opportunities in front of us.
Yeah.
We're not getting smothered in the day-to-day issues, which can take up all of your time if you allow them to, you know. So you've got to really focus on the tomorrow stuff to get to, you know, and trust that the team will just, everyone will do their own job and make it happen, and they do. You know, everyone is very focused. So we're very lucky to have a team who are so clued in, so skillful, but yet again so dedicated to this business.
When we started working together, kind of what position were you at then? Like that, you know, you run the business, it's been successful, it's been growing, you're something new, you brought it from the ground up. But for you personally, like, were you kind of feeling at the top of your game? Were you, where were you at kind of before we started working together? As you said, actually, Joe, maybe I need to just get a bit of support or change a few things, or
Yeah, I guess to to answer your question, 12 months ago, I just had a heart attack. I had a mild heart attack. Thankfully, it wasn't a big event, and there was a attack in my artery, and yes, the terminal heart attack. So I got a stint in, and the whole worked out fine, and it was just to give me a severe jolt, and it was from it's a combination of stress and poor choices. So it was definitely a wake up call. So the secular business, no matter how big or small your business is, I think once you have learned to carry a load, and learn to deal with stuff in certain ways, doesn't matter how big or small it is, you'll always do that. So I had to relearn how to carry that load. I had to allow myself to let go of a lot of stuff that I couldn't control. I think that's what I've learned in the last year. I'm glad I signed up to it. It's been all the immense benefit to me in allowing me to understand what I can change, what I can control, and what I can't. And that's been great. So people have that built in. I meet people every day who get that and who understand it. Not in business necessarily, but in life. I really admire them. And they allow themselves to let the universe do whatever it needs to do. Other things they can't.
Yeah. And so apart from your own health that was affected at the time, was there anything else, I suppose, being affected by the stress or the pressure or carrying it the way you were carrying it?
The negative energy that comes in inevitably from pressure can drain you of the passion. It could drain you of ambition. It could drain you of critical energy. And as you get older, you need as much positivity and as much energy as you can. Nothing gets done without other people.
Yeah.
And unless I have the energy and the drive to show the way, there's nobody going to want to work in an environment where they don't see the reason, they don't see the need first. So I have to create that peace every day. So so as your question, the energy has to be positive. Yes, and if it's not, mind yourself being protective and curling up and running away from tough decisions. Been in safe mode, it's very much. And safe mode equals a bit before you go away altogether.
What kind of things were causing the pressure, Barry? Like you mentioned, just different things that might have caused it. What for you personally do you feel the most pressure came from?
I guess it's making stuff. I find that comes naturally to me is making stuff, solving problems, tech problems. Because when you have a technical problem, there's always a technical solution. You just have to think hard enough about it. But one of the big challenges of business is obviously finding customers, just getting the face time with the relevant people. It's pretty easy sell actually when you get to the right person. And you talk to guys who climbs 20 and 30 meter steps every day, and dip spins and so on. He's all ears when it comes to something that automates that efficiently. But telling your story to that person, finding that person, and getting your message across was the part that we struggled with. If I'm honest, it's still a big challenge, but we're well established now, and we have a great network, and thankfully our customers are selling it to each other. There's a network there that's
Word of mouth.
and it's started to work that way. The phone is ringing now.
Yeah.
But to get there from zero has been probably the toughest journey ever, because of the fact that we were doing something new. So it's we're only starting really, but it's starting to add up and starting to make sense commercially, So it's good to see people. The market knows our product. and it knows what it does, and it knows that it's probably the best value out there. So
So a lot of it was around getting the sales in, meeting those targets. You mentioned investors and things like that before as well. So a lot of it was coming probably your own pressure putting on yourself to kind of show that this is going to work and prove it to the market that it is the best product, basically. Um, how have you kind of changed how you carry that now? Like, what's some of the things that maybe you've changed over the last 9, 10 months to, I suppose, carry it lighter, carry it better, like still, I suppose, hit those targets, but not put yourself maybe under the same pressure as you might have done in the past.
I guess the big one has to be the fact that you've got to let it go. The biggest challenge is letting it go. So you do your best. You put your pitch forward. If the people want to move forward with you, you leave the door open. And if they don't, you don't. You don't wait on any particular customer. You don't dwell on it. You do your pitch. If you get your audience, and invariably, what actually happens is the phone will ring on a wet Tuesday morning, 6 months from then, and you'll say, they've just had an outage, or somebody's fallen, or somebody slipped doing a manual check, and they'll say it's time to do that. You've long forgotten them at this stage.
Yeah.
Done your follow up, but I guess one of the things is waiting is in your head, mentally preparing yourself for that sale before you have a purchase order. That's a tough one. So that doesn't happen anymore. We do our best. We'll give a potential customer as much attention as we can, and then we let it go. We move on to the next one.
Yeah.
We go and we're immediately in next selling mode.
Were you always able to do that?
No, there was times you'd meet big opportunities and you would dwell on the fact that you'd wait for the phone to ring, which is a disaster, and that was a big source of stress.
Yeah.
Saying what if, so the reality is you've got to let it go and you've got to move on, and if it happens, it happens. So
What difference does that actually make during your week? What do you, like you mentioned energy a lot there. Does it affect your energy at all being able to let go?
Yeah, letting go is the single biggest, letting go of any issue you have, because unless you can control it, you can control your thoughts, you can control maybe your exercise, you can control your body, some of the stuff you do.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can control nothing in this world. You can't control other people, their thoughts.
Yeah.
So
you start to think about it. You don't have much that you can't control.
No, and
so why are we holding on to so much?
No, and you're very lucky. Like one of the things you fill your mind with is gratitude for your heartbeat. You're able to get up, you're able to walk and talk, and you're able to,
Yeah.
So all the things we can do. So I guess this experience has taught me that you've got to really be grateful for what you have, and what you don't have is not your fault that you don't have it. It's not your problem, and if it comes along, great, and if it doesn't,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you keep chasing the right things, that'll come across too. If that it changes your spirit a little bit, and these things tend to come to you when you don't look so hard. When
You're not gripping to them.
Yeah,
and
if you just
holding on too tight.
No, I think it's a lesson. It's something. It's a daily thing. It's not something that you just get. This is something you work on every day, and you go.
It's a practice.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like going to the gym, isn't it? You go to the gym, if you go once, it's not going to have much benefit with you. If you can make it consistent every week for a year,
yeah,
you're going to start to see something.
But that requires effort on a daily basis.
Yeah.
and it requires a bit of, and sometimes you lose track, and sometimes you do fall into the, and it is great when something comes your way and you celebrate the wins. Definitely.
And what is most of that effort on a daily basis to kind of keep your mind right now, from your point of view?
We're always focusing on our current customers. So one of the big things is that your current customers could be your biggest sale, your best sales channels.
Yeah.
We do our very best to provide the best possible service we can to every customer, be they big, small. We've hundreds and hundreds of customers all over the world. So we're focused when we're not selling. We're always selling, because we can just look up our every silo we have in our estate. We look up thousands of silos every day, and we say, look, is it right? And it's as good as it can be. And if it's not, we do what we can to make it good. We make that call and say, why is the power off, or what, so, and they see that. They see that we're not just a transactional company that's looking for a quick hit. We're there trying to keep our equipment online.
Yeah.
We replace our equipment free of charge. If the hardware fails, we never charge twice for a
Yeah.
piece of equipment if it's an issue with our kit.
But just getting back to that piece about keeping the mind right and being able to, because obviously 100 things come up in a day that you could hold on to or you could let them go.
Yeah.
How do you kind of remain intentional, or how are you aware of that? Like, what you said it was a kind of a practice. Like, what is that for you? How do you catch yourself? Or
So there's stuff that goes wrong all the time. But what I find it really works when stuff goes wrong is you don't deal with it on your own anymore. I would have said, I'll fix this. No, we have a team there, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it and we'll discuss it, and then we'll most likely talk to the people who where the problem is, and it's incredible. Emails and WhatsApps and all this. You talk to people. If you talk to people, even your own team or the person who has the problem, it's immediately halved, and you immediately see that human to human is an incredible power. This incredible power when you actually talk to people. And
we kind of forget that sometimes, don't we? Because we've so much technology around us and distraction, probably.
Yeah, and there's a protection mechanism within us to sort of protect ourselves and run for the hills. But you gotta if you man up and go at it, it turns out that you can turn actually this problem into an opportunity in some cases. As we have seen so many terrible, so it's these problems happen. Everything, but there's nothing really, in business you can't fix in some shape or form. We've
Or make it better.
Make it better, but it takes that energy you need, that positive energy you need from filling your head with gratitude and understanding that you're actually one of the luckiest people on the planet. To
remind yourself
of that. People, and me, everyone forgets that from time to time. It's really important to understand how privileged we are.
Oh yeah, so you're right though. It doesn't matter how much you do it, you still have to keep doing it, because or else you drift back. There's probably maybe even times over the last 9 or 10 months we've been working together. Have you noticed any times maybe you have slipped back, even though you're building good momentum in your own energy, in your headspace, and then you kind of slip back and you had to kind of pick yourself back up again.
Of course, yeah. There's been times when you've forgotten. You're you're so far in the thick of it that you're really lost in a particular issue, or some really, really big opportunity has come along, and the bigger the opportunity, the more tendency you have to wish. And that's where the wheels fall off. When you're living on hope and wishes, it's a tricky one. So you got to take the opportunity, do your best to do everything comes along, and start working on the next one. And if and that's really important. I think we've had some really great opportunities, and thankfully some of them have landed. But that's when I slip the most. The furthest is when we see what could be, when we start living what could be, rather before it happens, and just gotta do.
It's kind of hanging your success on something else happening in the future, rather than actually how are the customers today, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, really got to keep an eye on where you are today, and mind what you have.
Yeah.
The rest will come. If your energy, if you keep your mind right.
Very good. Barry, we were talking a few weeks ago. We were talking about personal responsibility. What is your understanding of personal responsibility, or what do you make of it?
I suppose during my medical piece, what there was a lot of times I interacted with medical professionals and doctors and nurses and so on, and those they were quite functional in prescribing medicines. It kind of came to me, instead of maybe looking at I'd never been in a hospital, never stayed in a hospital, or never been in any medical situation, and no one really asked about the cause. They all just wanted to diagnose more tablets and so on. And I started searching for the cause of my medical condition. And I put it under stress, and maybe not the best choices, and diet and so on. Although I'm very well looked after, I probably choose to eat the wrong stuff. But in any event, none of them, once they care, that's not right. So I says I got to take responsibility here. So it was the first time I'd ever made a conscious choice to say, right, I've got to look after myself. I'm going to book my own checkups, and I'm going to eat better and do all this stuff. But none of the people that you think who seem to ask and seem to ask about what you do. There was no, you should go for a walk, or you should go for a swim, or you should find an answer exercise or anything like that. It was just, here's more tablets. This is the way you are, and here's what you do. Here's what you take when you are the way, here's more blood pressure tablets. So that day I was diagnosed with blood pressure tablets. I says, here, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to try and take up walking twice a day. And I have, and the blood pressure has improved dramatically. But so I just noticed that unless I had taken that responsibility, now it makes sense. It's like the elephant in the room. It's very sensible. Everyone should be responsible for their own health. But it did dawn on me that some people think it's somebody else's fault or somebody else's responsibility.
Yeah.
Your own health and your own well-being is your responsibility. Even, what's in your head is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Your own energy is your responsibility. And to do whatever it takes to make them as positive and as abundant as possible is your responsibility. And that's maybe something that that wasn't apparent to me before, or wasn't obvious.
What does that actually mean then for you in terms of practically every week? What does that personal responsibility actually mean?
It means getting the balance right, and being so, like working on 60, 70 hours a week every week. It means trying to interact with people and talk to people and do stuff outside work. It means trying to, or it means managing your diet. It means getting some exercise. So that means getting up earlier if you have to fit these things into your day. So it has a real. We're surrounded with people here. Lots of people have it built in, and some people need reminded of it. That that's your job. It's your job to keep you right.
Yeah.
No one else's job. No one else's job to make you happy.
Yeah.
I think the world has lost a little bit of that logic. It's the government's fault because it's raining or something. It's not the government.
It's very hard to take that personal responsibility, I suppose, without the self-awareness, isn't it?
Yeah. To be aware of it, yes. To have that realization that I can't blame anyone for what's in my head, my thoughts and mind.
Yeah.
Can't blame anyone for if I'm not as healthy as it could be. There's a way of doing that. It's not easy. It's like a marathon. It's not easy, but it is simple. We're one foot to the other and we keep going. But I get it. It's not easy. But you have the capacity inside you to change the really, really, really most important things, which are your thoughts and your state, to allow yourself to do it. And I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm saying I'm a great success at it. I'm saying at least I'm very grateful to have the open-mindedness. And we're living in a different world now than maybe our parents, and it wouldn't have been. It was regarded as they were different times.
What do you think growing up in those times, or even your parents growing up and when they grew up in, what do you think was kind of passed on to you about work and business and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I suppose it was important to be seen to work hard. What you were being seen to be and be doing, and being seen to be doing was nearly more important than what you were doing. What everyone else thought, and the thoughts everyone else had about you were more important than what you thought about you, and that's wrong. That's entirely wrong, and that's upside down. But that was indoctrinated into them those generations by forces beyond their control too. So
Yeah.
it's no one's fault. It's just the way it evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
We're living in a very free world, free thinking world,
Yeah.
and with that comes super opportunities for people to just grow.
What kind of growth do you get from kind of taking that personal responsibility? And maybe another way of asking that is, what's changed in the last 9 months? In maybe in more the line of work and business, what's changed for you?
Yes, the realization I've realized that the only inhibitors in my world are me, and the only restrictions on my possibilities are in my own head. The Yep, that's been a relaxation. It's been a bit for them to a great degree. If you sit around and look and talk to people, maybe you'll be told society will tell you where you're supposed to be, and they'll add up who you're from and where you are and what's your socioeconomic, and they'll put you in a box very quickly. I mean, even if you don't ask, they'll still put you in a box. However, if you decide to explore your own options and allow yourself to think about where you'd like to be and where you'd like to what the direction should be.
So that's kind of like, we need to define what success is for us without kind of just borrowing it from somebody else.
Exactly. Yes, you have to decide whether it's a marketing ad for some perfume has decided what success looks like, or is it actually what would I like to do? Is my definition of success as having 11 chickens and a bag of turf by his fire on a windy day.
Yeah.
And a collie dog. Is that my version of what I want, or is it a Lamborghini in a blonde? It doesn't matter. But the trick is to figure out what truly it is success looks like in your own from within.
Yeah. You've designed success to become more aware of what success is for you. So how has that shaped your week differently?
Yeah, I guess one of the things that I as I get older and as I sort of go on this journey further, it's seeing other people's happiness and reaction. I get a great kick out of it. Seeing other people get what they want, or if you like, get to the next stage. Even sales in our business doesn't just make me happy. This guy's building, some of our my colleagues are building houses and they're having children, and they're, I get a great kick out of knowing that we are a part of that journey, that we've been able to add to that.
Yeah.
So the more like my
That's the type of thing you look back on in years to come, rather than the targets and the numbers.
yeah, my kids are out interrailing now. One of them is interrailing, sending pictures back every day, and I glean an awful lot of satisfaction, and I feel as if I'm doing it again for the second time through her. She's seeing cities and things for the first time, and I'm going, I'm saying, isn't it brilliant to have been able to be part of her journey?
Yeah.
She's now sharing that with us, and the joy she brings. So an awful lot of it is living through other people. I'm not the best at it. I'm a very self-centered. I've traditionally been a self-centered person, so allowing myself to open up to that idea is only new for me. And this journey has helped me with that more so than anything. It's always been about me. The more I go, the less and less I glean, from myself. It's more about I get such a kick out of other people's adventure and their joy and their successes and so on.
One last question, Barry, as well. You mentioned there lately about pride, and not like the outer pride, the ego pride, but actually an inner pride in yourself, that maybe you allowed yourself to maybe feel that pride inside. Again, I think a lot of it came from going out, taking personal responsibility with the walking and things like that, and sticking to that and improving your health that way. But tell me more about, I suppose, the what are you most proud of about yourself over the last 9 months, or well, maybe over beyond that, but just even in terms of the changes that you made over the last while.
Yeah, I guess this been, as you there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time beating themselves up, as I would have. Why didn't I achieve this, or why aren't we getting there, or why aren't our targets, why aren't we hitting those numbers? So there's a me included, a lot of time being spent questioning and commenting in your own head about why isn't it like this. The the first part of that, allowing yourself to achieve, I think, is to let go. So it comes in sequence of parts. Go and let go and saying, don't beat yourself up. You're trying. You're trying. And if it comes, it comes. So that's the first part. The second part was to say, well, identifying what you can control, and then actually doing it. And then in that piece, the walking has three benefits, but I thought it only had two. I thought it was a physical benefit, and obviously did your head good, but it has a third benefit that was manifests, and it is that pride, which is pride itself isn't a good thing, but it's a pride in oneself to say, well, yeah, I actually did it, and if you're, like, you do whatever you do every day, it's starting to work. Like in my case, blood pressure came down. I didn't have to take tablets. That was one of my biggest. I got rid of tablets.
And that probably in turn clears things in your head then as well.
It allows you. It enforces in you that the power of just thinking and the power of these actions. So if I can do that, I can do the next piece, and it reaffirms that there should be no issue in it. But it's not coming all of a sudden. You've got to work at it, and so on. So that's very much something that's sounds so inane and simple, but it's actually it was quite powerful for me.
Yeah.
To say, well, I have the capacity to do pretty much anything if I want.
Well, it's kind of giving yourself, as you said, use the word beating yourself up. It's giving yourself permission to not beat yourself up anymore.
Yeah, you're busy you're busy walking.
Yeah, yeah.
You get busy at the constructive stuff rather than and it's not. It's more anyone with ambition and everyone has ambition. Every single person has ambition in some shape or form to do, to what, to have whatever it is. There's nobody any different, I believe, but everyone with ambition and a want will be disappointed. Yeah, because it doesn't come when you want it. A wise man I know, he says, experiences is what you get when you don't get what you want, and that's true and right. There's sometimes you have enough experience. Sometimes you just really just said, time to get what I want.
Time to let it happen.
Yeah, and that's where the frustration comes from.
Yeah,
and
that frustration was probably you kind of used the word, you've moved from trying to allowing, because I was trying to do stuff, I was trying to do this, I was trying to whatever. Now, like, the vocabulary has changed, and how we talk to each other obviously is very important, because now you're saying, I'm allowing this to happen, or I'm allowing that to happen.
Yeah, I think you've been a big influencer on the word try, and I will, and I might, and tomorrow, and it's trying is hasn't sunk in yet. So allowing yourself is giving yourself permission to do it, which is a slight change, but a massive difference in the actual terms of implementing something. Is in and you can slip. You're allowed to slip. That allow is much more forgiving. You're allowed not to be rigid and not to be strict. It's much allowing rather than trying. It turns it from an opportunity, from a struggle to an opportunity. The cycle we're in now, because of this, I think has allowed me to think different thoughts, and that's more, and thoughts not necessarily, but and it's not the typical beat yourself up thoughts. There's the thing,
It's not the overthinking.
There's a target. You don't get the target equals disappointment. If you do get the target equals you're great. It's not that anymore. It's a different cycle of thoughts. You start. It's a little tiny ladder with tiny steps, and those steps are thoughts, and those steps are initiative. To put yourself in a frame of mind to say, well, and you've been very instrumental in allowing me to put myself into a situation where I've already achieved what I'm after, which creates a spirit around me and an energy around me.
Yeah.
That allows me to act as if that's what I already achieved, which tells the people I'm talking to that, well, this guy's clearly capable. So you're emitting an entirely different energy by putting your head in that space.
Yeah.
Which is effective.
What's one piece of advice you give to somebody right now who's carrying a lot of responsibility in business, in life, and maybe feeling that pressure more than enjoying it, to actually enjoy it more?
If they're in business, I think they'll understand a couple of things about sequence, and they'll understand a couple of things about how to get stuff done. They're in business because they can get stuff done, and they have a skill set already. They have a huge amount of power and skill set, thoughts, experience. What this is about, taking the pressure off yourself, is it's all about a sequence of, if you like, a process and a sequence. And the first process is to let it go, decide and figure out what you can and you cannot control. The things that bring you the most stress are the things that you can't control. You may have had a market that was responsive to a particular a stimulus before. It no longer is. That's going to be a source of stress. Those changes, and so the first thing is you got to do is let it go. The second thing you got to do is really consider what you can control. A more honed mind, body, and soul are. And I'm far from. I regard myself as still on a journey here. I'm far from the other. Yeah. There's nobody. It's a very difficult thing to do, is to get harmony in that regard. After that, you'll find with your capability to let stuff go and your focus on thought, what'll happen is you'll find that these things should come to you. This, you should start to find it easier. And
Your ambition is still there, but it's just the process of getting to the ambition is changed.
yeah, you should always have your ambition. You should always have a purpose and a goal.
Yeah.
You should refine and reiterate that to yourself constantly.
Yeah.
And it changes. Your goals change as your mindset changes. By the way, your purpose changes sometimes. But you still need, in this world, you still need to be commercially active. You still need a paycheck. This world is, you still need people around you. You cannot build anything on your own. You're going to need a team, and that team, you want them to be around you, and you want them to feel good around you. And that can only happen if you feel good around yourself.
Well, I think on that note, we'll leave it there, Barry. Right. Thanks very much for the walk and talk. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. The wisdom here doesn't come from me, it actually comes through me, from the men like you that I walk alongside. And if the conversation today landed and you would rather live it rather than just listen to it, I want to invite you to the Grounded Man Hike. It's a day in nature with a small group of founders and leaders, men who carry a lot and want to carry it lighter. And there's no slides or pitch or agenda, just honest conversation and open ground. The link is in the description below. Leave your details and I'll be back to you personally. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week.